Okay, so number one, PAS 41 is biological asset. It's false, sir, since the title of PAS 41 is agriculture.
Okay, that's correct. Common misconception class is that PAS 41 is about biological assets, but the title is agriculture. But personally, I'm not fond of asking you for the title of the standard class, but there are some examiners that are fond of asking the title of the standard. So you stand to gain if you try to remember the title of each standard.
Number two, land related to agricultural activity is within the scope of PAS 41. It is false, sir, since the book states that land related to agricultural activity is beyond the scope of PAS 41.
It's made clear that number 2 is one of the expressly excluded item in PAS 41. Can we ask a member from your group to answer number 8 first?
Number 8, biological asset is a living animal or plant. The answer is true because it is stated in the key definitions of the standard that the biological asset is a living animal or plant.
This should help you answer in number 2 class. Even if you did not read the items expressly excluded from PAS 41, knowing that biological assets can only be a living animal or plant, then definitely you will be certain that a land will not be considered as a biological asset. Plus, PAS 41 gives you three items only as to its scope. Number one, biological assets. Number two, agricultural produce. And number three, government grants. But the government grants that are covered by PAS 41 are only those related to biological assets and agricultural produce. So you don't even have to remember government grant. Okay, the important items to remember here are your biological assets and agricultural produce. And definitely class, land is not a living plant, it's not a living animal, nor is it an agricultural produce. So you should not have any difficulty remembering number 2 class. Let's go back to number 3.
PAS 41 includes guidance on the processing of agricultural produce after harvest. It is false because it does not deal with processing of agricultural produce after harvest, but it is applicable to the agricultural produce only at the time of harvest.
Okay, so that's correct. Very important cut-off class. The application of PAS 41 at the latest would only be until the point of harvest. After the harvest class, it will no longer be covered by PAS 41. Normally, it will be covered by PAS 2 already, by the standard on inventories. Before it is harvested, it is not yet an inventory. After it is harvested, it will now become an inventory. You will keep on encountering at the point of harvest in PAS 41 class. If it's beyond the point of harvest, then that will no longer be a concern of PAS 41.
Palm oil is the agricultural produce of oil palms. It is false because it is not an agricultural produce, but it is a product that is a result of processing after harvest.
Okay. Class, when I was a student class, I always got confused. Why would some questions ask us to identify which of the following is an agricultural produce, which one of the following is a product after harvest? Okay, when I was still a student, I was questioning why would authors ask us to identify yarns, wool, tea, uh, dairy cattle, sugarcane, so on and so forth. Nga, it's very specific example already of biological assets and agricultural produce and the products after harvest. Then I realized, class, that the main reason that these kind of questions exist, it's because this particular table, class, is shown in the standard. If you viewed the copy of PAS 41 class, this table, can you see the table I'm referring to, class? Ordinarily, class, you are not expected to know all possible biological assets and their related agricultural produce and products after harvest. But will there be questions asking you to identify whether a particular item is a biological asset or an agricultural produce or already a product? The answer is yes, because of this table in the standard class. You're expected to be familiar with the items provided in this table, class, because it is shown explicitly in the standard. Again, you're not expected to know all biological assets, but you're at least expected to be familiar with these items. And the reason being is these items are expressly provided in the standard, class. So please be guided by this table, class. I don't like that kind of question kay it does not test your understanding of the concepts, but tests already your specific knowledge on particular items. But again, since this is in the standard, questions asking you for specific items would still be considered as reasonable and acceptable. Okay, so please take note of this table, class.